I am Anna Morgan, your career BFF and job search accelerator camp director. And this has been an amazing series. I am super excited to welcome Dan Roth, our today's counselor, who has been a client and a mentee of mine over the last 2 or 3 months. And we're going to talk just a little bit about his journey from confused, dealing with rejection, not really certain on how to show up on LinkedIn, and how he has literally blazed his own trail into landing an executive recruiting position when he had come from a previous industry. So I am super excited to welcome him. And the purpose of these live series is to really just give you an example of what it's like to work with a job search accelerator coach like myself. I am hosting a 1-day summer camp that is a 4.5-hour intensive that is basically going to cover a lot of the things that I helped Dan on his journey. So if you're free on Wednesday, the 14th, go to my profile, check out the link, and join us for JSA Camp on Wednesday. All right. Welcome to the stage, Dan. How are you?
Thank you. It is good to be here. It's later than the normal lives I do. But so I do have Haley in Brooklyn here with me.
Okay.
But that only adds to the experience, right? Because this is a summer camp after all.
Yeah, summer camp. I know people keep asking me when I'm going to have the kids on, and because I had a whole slew of them here with me recently. So everyone say hello to Dan. Let me know where you are tuning in from. I hail from Atlanta and I am vacationing here in Key West, and Dan is out in California. So let us know. Sandra is in the house. Good afternoon. Great to see you. Julie, hello. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the profile tricks and hacks that job seekers can do to level up their profile, right? The whole purpose of optimizing your profile, which is a hot term here, is to make your profile work for you when you're sleeping. So it snatches the attention of recruiters and hiring managers and super cool, awesome people, right? So with that, we have Shannon in the house from Colorado.
Hey, Shannon.
Tracy's
Tracy.
here. Hi, Tracy.
Yay. Hey, Mark.
All right, we have a hi, Dan. He's from Bloomington, Indiana. I love it. Our friend DJ's in the house. Whoop, whoop. Love it. Hey, Adrian. So glad you're here. I'm so excited.
I'm sorry. Did DJ call herself Silver Fox? Can you pull that back up?
Yeah, that's her like her hashtag or her headline name.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, that just caught me off guard.
No, she has a great show. Happy Friday. I've lost track of what day it is, honestly. And then we have Minneapolis. Awesome. So y'all drop your questions in the chat. Let us know what questions you have as a career changer of like, what are the must-haves that you've got to do on your profile? So Dan, like what would be the one thing that you would say that leveled up your visibility with your profile through our process?
Oh, well, let's be honest. When I started my profile, my dogs would probably pee on it. It was so bad.
You might have had a picture that was how many years old as your profile picture?
That was my wedding picture, which was, no, that was before that. That must have been 10 years old.
All right. So if you're, yeah.
10 years. Oh, geez. Back when I was good looking.
You know what? It's not fair. Men get better looking with age. I am 46 and my husband's about to turn 50. And I look at him, I'm like, damn, you did not look like that 21 years ago. So, it gets better.
Without getting biased, I would say that may be for most people, but my people shrink. so
Oh, I love it.
I'm,
I love
I'm waiting for that. So, okay. So I think it's weird because as I look at it and as I look back to where we first started, and now knowing that I actually do all the profiles for Zuna Executive, what I look at now as a recruiter is different than what mattered most at that point. I think looking back, the about section was the number one key for me, but it was probably tied with the banner,
it.
and that was your doing, and
You
that
totally
was your
switched
doing.
up your banner recently. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to go into Canva if I need to show it. So, well, because I did your banner in the style that I did because you had let me know that you were colorblind, right?
Yeah.
And now you have bright, bright yellow.
I have company colors. I mean, what can I say?
Well, no,
Although,
that's good company branding. So that makes perfect sense. I was just going to show your original one. And so people can get a feel for it. Let me just open this up. There we go. I'm getting better at sharing. So we really focused on kind of that like SEPA black and white kind of vibe. And we really focused on how one of the things that we discovered through our conversation was that he is just a natural connector. So we really wanted to make that bold statement on the cover image to let people know that he was a connector. And then we leaned into the titles of the positions that he was looking for. And I think that's so powerful that people just put recruiter at IBM or project manager at ABC company. And your headline and your cover image are two places that you can really boost your profile by adding other titles that match for the positions that you want, not just the positions that you have, right?
yeah, and I'll tell you something. As I help other job seekers, this was the most critical piece of information that I've carried through, because you're right. It's so imperative, regardless of what you're doing. If you could throw your top 2 or 3 skills in there and put it out there, when recruiters see it, they're immediately going to know, okay, this is somebody I'm interested in, and then start scanning through the rest of your profile.
Well, it's all about making it easy for the people that are viewing your profile to understand who you are and what type of position is a good match for you. I love Canva too. I have been leveling up my Canva game just this week. It is an amazing tool, especially for those of us that need like graphic artist work for dummies. It's an amazing tool. So the other thing, so we talked about the headline or your picture, right? Like if your photo is more than 2 to 3 years old, it's probably time to refresh that. And I had asked you to see about getting some photos. First time didn't work out so hot. Second time, I self-produced over Zoom a photo shoot for you, which is where we got the images that we have now and that you use. So that was super fun. I'm willing to go to pretty much any length to help my clients level up their profiles. So
speaking of which, only for you, if you want to be embarrassing, you are more than welcome to.
What?
If you want to throw up some of the worst pictures, because it's you, I will give you the green light.
Actually, I want to show our audience a little snippet of one of our first sessions together, where I said that I would take you on as a client in a scholarship capacity, because I started this kind of scholarship pay it forward process back in September. And so each month or quarter, I pick one person that I feel aligns with my vibe, and I feel confident that I can get from point A to point B to come into the Career BFF container and go through the process. So I'm going to share that real quick so people can kind of get a behind the scenes insight look. So let me get over there.
Make your jobs.
Sorry.
No, I'm really bad at this, so it's gonna take me a second, but thank you.
Give your dad a hug, girls. Give him a hug.
You got to understand something. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about helping others is because growing up with the difficulties that I did, I never felt like I was good enough and that I would ever be able to reach my potential. And
you're talking to someone from a similar boat.
I give out as much as I do, and I don't think most people are halfway aware of how much time I spend on LinkedIn helping people. Not that, and I do that on purpose. But
hey girls,
I just never expected.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the beauty
really
of like when you put that energy out, right? It's that law of reciprocity. It just comes back. So, and I'm very ADD myself, so I understand your brain probably more than non-ADD people.
Elaborated slightly more
on what you've done on LinkedIn. So I'm going to pause there. We can come back to that in a moment. But it was such a, sweet moment to be able to ask for help, right? And to be willing to be, guided through a process that's potentially uncomfortable, right?
There's two things I'll say. One, first thing I'll do is make a joke and say that I never knew what it was like to be on the after show of The Bachelor until I watched that. But yeah, that was the first time in my life that I accepted help. I've been so focused on helping others that I never. It took me back to that moment, and I remember how I felt. And I remember feeling like, is this really happening? This is a lifeline that I so desperately need. And I just think I got to a point where I didn't have it in me to say no anymore. I just kind of knew I needed to say yes.
Yeah. And there's just something powerful to allow another person to reflect back what we can see that are those super genius moments that you have, like, that are, basically God-given talents, and the areas that we discovered through our questioning about, what kind of work did you do that lit you up, right? And what were people saying about you? And that's how we really started to build your brand, also incorporating your passion for neurodiversity, for your passion for women in leadership, for your passion for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And, that has just expanded through this time. And these are some of the exercises that I take my clients through with this questioning and going through their story, so I can really help connect those dots and pull out those gems that start that foundation, right? That makes you, the job seeker, stand out from a sea of other candidates that might have been looking to pivot into recruiting like you were, right? And then you just took incredible action and showed up in all the different places and took lots of LinkedIn courses. And then you started doing informational interviews, and then you landed your role, right?
Yeah. I mean, first, I don't want to rush in and say that's so. Between us meeting and that happening was quite a big. It took me a good month and a half to come around to realizing I needed to be a recruiter. Need is the right word. It's what runs through my veins every day. But it took a good month for me to come to that, and the turn from the second that I considered it that morning to 3 hours later when we talked, it just seemed like growing up, I always thought that when I was meant to have that moment that I would. And for me, that was that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the direction that it gave me, it was the greatest release I think I've had. One of the greatest releases in my life. Like, I don't want to shortchange the birth of my children.
Yeah.
But,
But I mean,
but,
it's so powerful to like finally just drop in and make that decision, right? And then having a guide to say, yes, this is it, this is it. And because I've been a recruiter for so long, it's like I you know what, I can spot one. And so I was like, I really like see how this lands in your body. Here's what I know about the industry, about the position, and where I feel like your skills align. And here's my thoughts on the roadmap or trail map to get you from point A to point B. And it was phenomenal to watch that journey.
Well, I mean, for context that I want to provide the audience, for me, it wasn't a matter of whether I wanted to be a recruiter. And I think this applies to a lot of people that are, I don't want to say getting up in years, but I had already pivoted 3 times. So the major thing that was holding me back was I'm already getting knocked for having a lack of continuity within my resume. What do I do if this doesn't work? Like, to me, there was no going back from that. So just that fear of saying, okay, this is the direction I need to go in, and accepting it was the hardest part. It wasn't necessarily the job, it was the decision.
Right. Yeah, making that decision is scary, right? But I feel like a lot of people, when they have that accountability buddy and someone that they can check in and say, I'm seeing this, I'm not sure about that. Like, how do I move forward? And I mean, we would talk through, text and other direct messages frequently to, triage kind of things that were going on with you. And one of the other things that I feel like really accelerated your process was that you're so humble and coachable and willing to try things. And this is a good segue into Shannon's question about how should you keep refining and refreshing your profile. For me, I have probably refreshed my profile a total of 3 times in the last 15 months. And that was changing the cover image, leveling up my headline, and tightening up my about section. What about you? So
I think that there's little touch-ups that you could do whenever you need to. Here's kind of a hidden secret, even though it's right there in the obvious, I actually need to update my about section because it's still the way that you had left it, or that we had left it. And I need to update it now that I'm doing the work, but I almost keep it there so I could show job seekers what it should look like when you're going through. Things like updating your banners, things that you could do all the time. I think that one thing Judy Fox would agree with is, your cover story, your 30-second video, that's something that you could really change out quite often to attract people. Do I think it needs to be done all? I don't know.
I mean, my experience on LinkedIn is test things out, right? And I think it's also important, if you look at your dashboard, you can see if your headline and your profile is getting the right people to look at you. Let's see if I can do this on my profile, even though I'm live.
By the way, for the audience, I'm not shushing Anna. I'm shushing my daughter, who found an empty bag of Cheetos and desperately wants more. While you're pulling that up, I'm going to get her some cookies real quick.
Yeah, get her some cookies. So here is what I look at is my search stats, and then really, what the recruiters do that are looking for me particularly. So author, founder, public speaker, production editor, journalist. But here's really where the magic is down in the keywords your searchers used to find you. And if these are all like wonkadoo, then you have an opportunity to level up your headline, because we can't forget that LinkedIn is a search engine just like Google. So you want to maximize those keywords in your headline to be found by recruiters, especially when we're working in LinkedIn recruiter application that's more of the job board side. So that is helpful. So Julie has a question. She says, I don't know what lights me up anymore after years in a bad fit or toxic job. How to find my next role that uses my strengths, but also lights me up going forward. Do you want me to take this one?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So Julie, I am so sorry to hear that you've had a run of bad luck. I think everyone has had one or two of those jobs where we're all just like, what happened? What I would do is really drop into some self-reflection and do some exercises around your strengths. First of all, you can do some of those strength finders. I think they have a relatively free app or something like that can kind of help you focus a little bit. And then I personally love to guide people to look at industries or jobs that they're just personally interested in. Doesn't have to necessarily be a perfect match from what you've done before. But then if you look at those things that align with your hobbies and your passions and the books that you read and the podcasts that you listen to, you're drawing those similarities, right? And then you can start to reverse engineer. Okay, I know now because of my hobbies and my passions that I want to work in this industry. Then you can like reverse engineer to start networking and having conversations with people that have those types of positions and learn what you need to get your foot in the door, would be one of my thoughts. But definitely give yourself some grace, do some journaling and reflection, and maybe, several days in a row, sit down and maybe make some notes about some of your major accomplishments or areas in your career that you were super proud of, and then start building your personal brand and your visibility around those things. How does that land with you, Dan? What do you think?
No, that makes complete sense. This is a question that I see quite often. And I think it's because more and more of the population is working longer and longer into their lives. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to be doing the same thing forever. Mm-hmm. In fact, you shouldn't be. The key that I talk to people about is, and if you've been working for any period of time, there's going to be those transferable skills that you talked about. So find something that makes you happy. Find something that makes your brain tick and just go with it. Or like if you have LinkedIn, go on to LinkedIn Learning and take a bunch of courses, see what interests you. Go watch some TV shows or History Channel, whatever the case may be, and get a gauge for what really draws you in. If you stop on something for more than a couple seconds, there's an interest there. So then explore it.
Yeah. As Jess Smith says, get curious about your surroundings, about your interest, about your energy levels. And then it's also really important to make sure that you're in that growth mindset versus that fixed mindset, because a lot of times, you and I have had these conversations that we both are kind of like underdogs, right? And I love to work with the underdog, essentially, right? The tough cases that feel abandoned and don't feel like they don't have anything to offer. Like that's my special sauce, like pulling the super awesomeness out of them, building them up, helping them see what is amazing about their experience, and then guiding them through that next process. Okay.
See, I had actually had this queued up because I knew you were gonna say it, but there's an Imagine Dragons song called Underdog.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I like it. That could be my theme song.
Yeah, I had that already queued up. Okay, so which video clip are you going to play to embarrass me more?
All right, let's see what else we have here. I gotta get make sure I don't hit the wrong background here.
No.
On
the background, like maybe it was 1 or 2 sentences more. You made that way more concise with that. I've tried out different industries, so that's what I need to do, and that's where I feel like I was not sure how to tweak it. So I may not keep it in exactly those words because I want to write it in my own language.
Yeah, so let's make that a focus after the photos in the next, week.
I was always hounding you about that.
It's all about that personal brand, right? And that messaging.
And I didn't know that I had my own
language. We want to hear the same thing from you every single time. And I want you telling the story of why you're a good fit for a recruiter every time you're in a clubhouse room when you introduce yourself. So I want to nail that introduction so that people keep hearing it over and over. Media, telecom, healthcare, patient recruitment, and growing my LinkedIn and doing Job Connection Tuesday has, opened the doors to make me realize that this is absolutely what I want to do for the rest of my career. Like, with that just unstoppable confidence, because you have all the right skill sets and personality to be an amazing asset to a talent team. And we just have to keep nailing that message, elevate the social currency, kind of put a little bit of polish on everything. And again, this is stuff that but you need.
Oh, I hate that picture. Oh my God.
Hey, what picture?
My White Castle shirt, or like my chin was like 3 deep. And this is, this kind of goes to why I didn't want to take the pictures, because I think all of us have confidence issues. It's just figuring out. By the way, it's scorching hot in San Diego, so if you see me keep wiping, that's why. I'm not normally like this. But yeah, I thought it was funny because I'm such a stickler for language usage, and I'm hearing myself, well, I need to put it in my own language. Well, Dan, what the F is that?
Well, every time I listen back to myself, the ums and ahs are ridiculous. Okay. Christine says, my cover story states that I'm a job seeker. When I get a new job, assume the clothes, Christine. I love it. Do you think I should just introduce myself, discuss my role in general and what is important to me? Or should I also mention the name of the company I work for? I think it depends on your company's social media policy. I know, as a champion for employment branding, I think it would be amazing for the company to say, I'm Christine, I'm a such and such with this company. I serve these types of customers, and, check out my about section to book a call or send me an email or something like that, but have a call to action. And then I do love it when people just include like what they're passionate about, right? Because that helps the recruiters connect the dots. Because I bet Dan is experiencing this now as a recruiter. We remember names, industries, titles, but it's oftentimes that unique fact about that person that we gathered through casual conversation that helps us remember that candidate, which makes them top of mind, which increases their visibility and helps fast track them into opportunities.
Yeah, and I'm not even a good one to talk to about cover stories because I keep on going. I haven't put one out, and the reason for it is because I have the strongest inclination just to mess with people. And what I mean by that is, like, I thought about doing something where I'm on there and I'm moving my mouth so that you think I'm talking and you think that the audio's messed up, and then all of a sudden I just go, bull jump.
I mean, I think you can do all kinds of fun things. Alex Sheridan's cover story is amazing. I mean, I did mine like just, hey, I'm Anna, Job Search Accelerator and Career BFF. And then I pitched that I have a course on Wednesday, the 14th, and said, you know, if you're this type of person, you should join. And, you know, this is something that I will switch up depending on, you know, what coaching offerings I have, or, but I think it's super fun. Again, like everything with LinkedIn, I think you have to test things out. John Cohen says, sounds like an elevator pitch or a sales technique called an elevator pitch. Well, I do think having your elevator pitch or your 1.5 minute tell me about yourself or who you are is critical, right? And that's something you and I, Dan, worked on quite a bit. Once I was able to go through your experience and connect some of those dots and say, okay, now we have to nail the pitch, because again, that's the beginning of your personal brand, where you can start using that language in your cover image, in your headline, in your about section, in your recommendations. Aww. And that's why it's so important. Hi, Junette. Do you want to join us?
You saw my face light up. You saw my face light up when I saw.
I've been so sad that she can't join. I'm gonna send her the link and see if she wants to come.
Ooh, I'd be so excited, because I have been told that I was going on her live for so long, and I feel like it's a Christmas gift that I never get. But then again, being Jewish, like I don't get Christmas gifts. Okay, so scaling back a little bit. So what I think
June needs to do her cover story.
What I think would be really cool for you, Anna, is like if you, because of how many backgrounds we could do, you do one for each season. So in summer, you do like the summertime, in the winter, you have, my daughter went from like really upset to really hyper. It's.
Is it the cookies or the Cheetos?
Actually, she wanted water.
She's like, I'm just dehydrated up in here, Dad. Come on,
she's
help
like,
the girl out.
My kids are terrible. Twos has come early.
3 and 4 are rough.
I'll tell you what, like every parent says that they hope that their kids get what they put them through. And if that's the case, my parents are very happy right now.
My dad's the same way. Anytime my daughter like pulls some stuff, he's always like, yeah, karma, Anna, karma. I'm the oldest of 5, so I was like the experiment. So, all right, who wants a profile audit? I'm like in the mood to do a profile audit. What does June say? Changing seasons. June and I can do TikToks for every season.
So I got to tell you something funny in talking about these profile audits. So I go to these networking with India rooms on Clubhouse every morning, because I try to give back, because I get so many people from around the globe that reach out to me, and I can't help people internationally finding jobs, but they will do profile reviews. And this one person goes up and says, well, I'd like to get a profile review, but then I'd like to help with profiles. And I look over the profile and I'm like, no, I'm sorry, you can't help with profile reviews, because it was so bad.
I mean, so as a recruiter, like, what are some of the things that you're looking for when you visit a profile? And when you get a resume, do you immediately pull up the LinkedIn profile or go to search for them?
So there's a couple things that I look at, and as a giveaway for anybody that doesn't know this, if you go to my featured section, I actually wrote an entire article about what I look for as a recruiter doing profile reviews. I also did an 1.5 hour long session about 2 weeks ago. I really need to get back to it to do profile reviews. So the first thing I look at is I want to make sure that the link is customized. The biggest thing for me, if you do not have your banner done appropriately, it's a big turnoff for me. And the reason I say that is because it costs thousands upon thousands of dollars to put up a billboard on the side of the
Yes.
road to attract a
Mhm.
business.
Yes.
So the banner is your billboard. It's the first thing that you're looking at.
Mhm.
And if it's clean, concise, if it tells me about you, then I'm going to
Mhm.
want to go. I'm going to want to call that number. I'm going to want to jump in. If it's messy, if it's not succinct, if it has nothing to do with what you do,
Mhm.
that's a turnoff for me, because it shows me it I want to show that there's continuity with the way that you're handling your social media, because
Mhm.
then I know that when you get into the work and we get you a job, that you're going to have that same level of dedication. Another thing I really dislike is long headlines. The way I look at it is you could put things in your banner so that you don't have to have a long headline, 2-3
Mhm.
things max. And
Yeah.
that's just the top of the profile.
That's
And I'm not going to throw everything, but the other thing I would say is, if you haven't had a job and you don't have some courses recently, probably not great.
Well, it's a good it builds confidence when someone says, "Oh, so you were laid off in May of last year, tell me about your journey or what's been going on." And you
Yeah.
can say, "I did these things." June says she wants to dress up for Halloween again, and then we're going to get to Tracy's profile. But I wanted to give everyone just a little view of the things that June gets me to do. And I dressed up like Ursula last year for
I remember that. No,
our
I don't.
LinkedIn
Wait, I
Live.
didn't know you.
And I make a really good Ursula. So more stuff like that coming this fall. All right. So Tracy said she updated her about section from our last session. So would you like to do this little review with me?
My problem is that I really like Tracy, so but
Well, we can love and like people and just give them some feedback. So this is, like we said the other night, this is a super safe place. And,
it is.
This is going on from the eyeballs of a recruiter, right? We're moving super fast. We want just quick hits of who you are, why you're awesome, what's going on. So we've already talked about the cover image, and she knows that she can go to Canva. She can make one in PowerPoint. LinkedIn offers ones that you can put up there as well. But Canva is super easy. And a part of JSA Camp is that I'm giving everyone 6 templates that they can customize. Just pop in their name, their core competencies, their tagline, which will be built from the branding homework that we do before the super fun, awesome day, that will help them fast track and get that cover image up and running. But her headline's not too long. HR director and leader, learning and development.
I disagree.
What? It's too long?
I respectfully disagree. So here's my problem with Tracy's headline. Tracy's looking for a job right now. There's 3 or 4 different titles in there that I just don't necessarily think need to be there. First of all, if you're a human resources director, you're already a leader.
True.
Learning and develop. Yeah. So you could cut that out. I wouldn't necessarily put, OD director. I don't think it's necessary to put strategic business partner. There's just a couple things in there that I think could be turned up.
These words here, Tracy, going back to LinkedIn being a search engine like Google, as a recruiter, when I'm looking for a human resources director, I'm going to use this keyword. So this is more of kind of like your mini sales pitch, right? Saying that I'm a thought leader, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, but you could adjust that to, put more of like a mini sales pitch about the people that you coach and mentor, or what your employees or past mentees have said, that how you've transformed them or how you've improved their lives in some way, shape, or form. How do you feel about the mini sales pitch at the end of the keywords once you get the keywords tightened up?
I'm okay with it, but I think where I see an opportunity here is, if in her banner she puts human resources director, then she no longer needs to put that there. That already is going to slim down. Then she could add more about what she really wants to do or something that tells about herself within the
Oh,
headline.
sorry. I clicked over there to look at the comments. Okay, so Tracy, tighten up the keywords in the headline just a little bit and maybe add, a little flair at the end. I personally like the descriptor at the end of the keywords because when I'm scrolling the news feed and I'm highlighting over people that I, may want to get to know, that helps me connect the dots a little bit more. So, and you have your area, you've got your contact info in there. Just make sure you have a good email address because recruiters will look for that. So let me just refresh here real quick because I want to see the hook. The hook on the about section matters. The hook matters. I'm an experienced HR leader with an interest in assisting individuals, leaders, teams, and organization in reaching their greatest potential. My HR career spans 15 years with work in learning and development, talent management, performance management, employee engagement, employee relations, and generalist HR. Okay, so I'll click the see more. And then she goes into industry experience, the number of years. I like when people give examples of industries because if I work for a big box retailer or a healthcare organization, I'm like, oh, she has worked in that industry, right?
Yeah.
And then you're telling us that you're open to other industries, which implies that those skills are transferable. What do you got?
I mean, so I'd really have to get a closer look, but I really liked the first paragraph. I don't say that often because a lot of times what I find is that job seekers either don't focus on the about section or they're not really sure how to put it. But I like hers. Like I really do. I have no problem with that. I think the only thing that I dislike, and this is again not seeing it in depth, is I don't like the look of having the start of the about section and then just some empty space on the right, and then it picked back up in black and white towards the bottom, just from an aesthetic point of view. But I don't know. Again, I don't know what I would do with it until I actually look more closely.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is a good summary. So if someone didn't click the see more button, they basically got like the quick hit of who Tracy is. I love your superpowers, her energy, her Amber version, building meaningful relationships, learning agility, ability to recall information, sense of humor, my intuition, my planning. The only thing I would suggest, go ahead.
Wait, Anna, did she just say human resources and sense of humor? Isn't that an oxymoron?
Is that your corny camp joke for the day? I like it.
It is.
My only thought is see if you can go through this text, Tracy, and try to take out the I's. Less I statements and more like agnostic language tends to do better on the platform. And a lot of times we naturally will write like that. But once you go back through it, second run, and try to pull out those I's, it doesn't come across as so much me, right? How do you feel about that?
I agree with you.
Okay. And then the other thing that I love to see is also just a little bit more. I think she gives us some examples under her superpowers, like walking in the sunshine, being from Florida. So definitely bringing in some of those personal elements. You know, if I lived in Florida, I would make that connection. She's certified in iPad coaching program. That's amazing. Tracy, I might have to connect with you because I'm interested in learning more about that. I have a plan and strategy for everything. Learn to be open to chance and opportunity. So you have to tell your reader what to do when they get to the bottom of your about section. So think about that, Tracy, and have a call to action. And I like to see either the email address or a way to get a hold of you again in the about section, because again, most recruiters are a little ADD. We're moving fast. If we see that number, that email, we can quickly grab it and reach out and connect with you. All right. So she's got 254 followers. It's helpful to, add connections daily. For example, everyone that's on this live tonight should be connecting with each other in the comments and sending connection requests afterwards saying, hey, I joined Anna and Dan's live, because what Judy said on Thursday, what day was that? Wednesday, is that, if you start connecting with the people that are at this event, there is a similar vibe, right? The people that are showing up for us are like-minded people that you're probably going to have super cool, awesome conversations with. So make it a practice to try to add a couple connections a day, and then you'll get over that 500 connection point, which I think gives you more visibility on the platform and kind of alerts LinkedIn that you're here and engaging and doing all the things. So then we go into the experience section. I love that you don't have any gray boxes. Yay for no gray boxes. And it basically has a summary under each position of what you did and your key responsibilities. So my question, Tracy, is this very similar to your resume or different? I would be curious about that. She's got her education, logos are super tight, license and certifications. I do look at these. Do you look at the certifications?
I always look at the certifications. By the way, just so you know, we have about 7 minutes to wrap up. And I apologize.
Okay.
Normally I would never say that, everyone. It's that we are going to be speaking at an event right after this. So
yeah, and Dan's like, I need to eat lunch or do something. We are speaking on Clubhouse at 8:00 Eastern about the power of vulnerability, right?
It's actually at 7:30 Eastern. Like, we legit go right from here to there, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was 8. All right. Well, I'll go check. So Tracy, another area, I think you have an opportunity to maximize your skills and endorsements. Your skills, you can use 50 skills. So jump in the edit button and try to add some more skills there. And then lastly, you need a recommendation or two. So the best way to get recommendations is to go out and give recommendations. 98% of the time, the person will turn around and reciprocate and give you a recommendation as well. So Tracy, hopefully that has been helpful. If you have any additional questions, just message me and I'm happy to help out, or you can join JSA camp on Wednesday.
And by the way, you were right about 8 p.m. I don't know where I got that mixed up. So we have time.
Okay, perfect. I think Julie said that she was interested in us looking at her profile.
I'm actually going to bring her up on my page.
Okay.
Julie.
I'm getting messages. Let me share this again.
Okay.
What other questions do my BFFs have here? So, make a difference, have impact. Okay, where? With what? With what industry? What position? That's the first thing that went through my brain as I saw that cover image. So, what do you think?
I was looking for her page. Wait, who just said I've never been wrong before?
Let me see. I have to look on my other screen. It's not up yet.
Okay.
Who is that? We can't see you. Any cautions? That's a good question, Dawn. I'm going to come back to that after we help Julie out.
So how about this? Because I don't know if you've ever seen me do like a full-on
Oh, it's
review.
Robert.
If you're, oh, okay, got it. Um, so if you want, I can go through Julie's profile
Yeah, go for it.
real quick. Now, I will tell everybody, if you've ever seen me do a profile review, it comes across a little bit different than Anna, but everything's
I'm so
intended
excited
for,
to see this because I didn't see your live session when you did
yeah,
them.
everything is intended for positivity. So let me be clear
Am
on
I
that.
negative? Now I'm getting all insecure.
No, like I have to say that because I can be animated when I do these things because I see the positives that people have and where they're missing things. And
Right.
like Kristen Patton, I think I was jumping up and down because she didn't have the confidence. I was getting animated because like everything was there. Okay. Julie, are you a job seeker or are you good in your job? I need to know that first.
I think Julie was the one that we were talking about earlier that had a string of like toxic experiences and
okay.
kind of having trouble figuring out what's next.
Okay, so then let's get started. This is going to be your profile review, Julie, top to bottom, quick and fast, 100%. So to start off, I don't like the banner. I don't think it does anything for you. And the reason I say this is because you don't get to shake the cookies while daddy's on the call. The reason I say this is because I want to see the banner have an impact for you. And while I love the scenery, it doesn't tell me anything about who you are. And likewise, I really don't think that the headline says that you're trying to do X position or Y position. Operational improvement is a skill. It's not a job. So I need to see these two things being uniform. And then once they're uniform, I need to see a background that emphasizes that job title with a couple of your skills there as well. You don't need to make it busy, but you definitely want to make it efficient. I think a lot of the things that you have in your headline need to go into your about section. 500 plus connections. Great. Okay, let's take a look at. So first, when I see the about section, okay, there's the featured section. Okay, so about section: curious learner, knowledgeable seeker, analytical problem solver, collaborative liaison, and bridge builder across organizations. The first business experience, seeking new. Okay, so let me tell you something that Anna taught me, and I completely agree with her on this. Your about section, if you're a job seeker, should be about where you came from, what you're doing now, where you're trying to go. Tell your story. Because as a job seeker, your story is going to be one of the things that sets you apart from everybody else. It doesn't need to be too long, but I would include that. And right now, with the paragraphs in your about section, but then looking now to proven skills and strengths, I think that there's going to be a bit of overlap. So I would just tell your story to start off. I do like the way that you have your skills and strengths. The one thing I would say is I don't need the word proven in there. I would just put skills and strengths. If you've done it, then like proven to who? Again, I'm a stickler for words, so I don't even think you need to put that. Technical understanding, I would make that a little bit more direct. Yeah, use more direct action verbs and language. Top strengths. Okay, I happen to really like that section. Values like a farmer. I like to nurture, cultivate, and grow things. That's fine. I nurture business relationships. I was raised on a farm. Okay, so
I have an idea, but I'm holding my tongue.
Here's a key area. This farm analogy should be all the way on top.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm saying. So your hook should be like a farmer. I like to nurture, cultivate, and grow things. And then you tell us a little bit about who you are as an industry professional and how you have farmed, nurture, cultivate, and grown people, organizations, projects, experiments, whatever it may be. And Yeah. So like a farmer,
Yeah.
I like to nurture and cultivate and grow things. I was raised on a farm. That's where my values and work ethic were shaped. I can tell you as a recruiter that likes storytelling, this would help me remember you. And then you got to punch us with a hard packing, like who you are, who you help, why you're awesome. And then you
But
can
you know
kind of
what?
go through.
This is the first time it tells me what she may be doing, because to me, this speaks to operations manager.
Well, it looks like, I mean, she's an operations improvement professional, from what I can tell from the headline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's not a job title.
Not so much. So, Julie, what you could do is when you're on the different job boards or even LinkedIn and you see positions that you want to apply for, jot down those titles of those positions and, say do 10 or 20 of them, and then pick the top 3 that are most reoccurring that come up in the search on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn can grab those keywords out of your headline. Do you agree?
I do. And I would also get the phone number the heck off of there.
Where's the phone number?
All the way at the bottom of the about section.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't need to
fine putting
email's
contact
okay.
info.
Yeah, I've had someone call me off of LinkedIn. It was very strange.
Yeah, that's just that's honestly, that's not even a LinkedIn issue for me. That's a safety issue.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even bother. So are we ready to move down a little bit, or you want to stay on?
I think we've given her some good ideas how she can reverse engineer and get a stronger hook. And then also spread out your text, like keep using bullet points and let your text breathe, because we live in this world of being conditioned to reading Twitter sized characters. So if you can let the text breathe, it's easier on our brain and keeps the reader engaged, because a lot of people get overwhelmed by, several paragraph form text in the about section. Okay, so on to the featured section. Wow, what a great message from this new graduate on what's important. A lesson learned early and for life. Please give it a listen. Priceless. So this is something that she shared.
Nothing to do with anything.
Okay. So do you want to talk about what you can use your featured section for?
I told you, I'm not intentionally mean. I just...
You're all about positivity.
I am, but my thing is I want to see job seekers do well. I want to see them get the roles that they're intended to get, and I know from experience what it takes. Mm-hmm. So when I look at something like this, it's not that I'm upset or I'm trying to be mean. It's that I feel that pang in my chest at not lost opportunity, but there's so many opportunities here. So with featured section, I want to hear about you. I want to see the things that you've done that make you special. If there's something that speaks to you, that's fine, but it should be more tailored to what you do or something about your specialization. Right here, this could be the greatest message in the world, but as a job seeker, you have to be your own best advocate. Mm-hmm. So when you put stuff like this up, I want you to think about it. What is this doing to help me with the direction I'm trying to go? Mm-hmm. And if you can't figure that out, then you shouldn't put it up. Mm-hmm. So that's really where I look at it.
Absolutely. So the featured section, you could put in a carousel slide from Canva or an image that showcases a recommendation or a phrase from a performance review. You could do a post about an award you've won. One of my clients, part of something that she won, she had the privilege to go ring the NASDAQ bell. And so she had a picture of herself ringing the bell and made a post about that experience and Those types of things you can, if you're creative, you can add a link to your portfolio website. Again, you could put letters of recommendation. Some people like to put their resume there. I think people should have to ask for your resume. You don't want people to make snap judgments about your experience without talking to you first. So hook them, snatch them here with the super amazing profile, right? Like butter them up, get them excited about who you are, what you can do, and how you can help the organization, right? Think about the pain points of the organizations that have the types of openings that you're looking for, and consider that when you're starting to write your about section or building out your experience section. So one of the things with gray boxes, the gray boxes show up because either the organization you worked for does not have a LinkedIn company page, but more than 50% of the time, I find that my clients have mistyped or not grabbed the logo company to add to their experience. So a lot of times it's just going in and editing this and seeing if this company comes up on the platform. So you have that logo there. And then my thought also is if you're going to oversee the family farm and use like little bullet points here, just keep the same cadence on each position. So there's that continuity between the different positions. And she's got her recommendations down here. So Julie, you might get more visibility on these if you put them in your featured section and put them in a document that's a little bit easier to read, something, like an image post from Canva, and pull out the really important text from those recommendations, and maybe even consider using that in your about section as well, saying, this is what people say about me. So that's a thought. So she started an AP, she had her own business, Great Plains implementation consultant, Skyline office administration, quality assurance technical support. So it looks like she's kind of pivoted a couple different times between implementation, business office manager, QA, and tech support, had her own business, and then has some accounting experience as well. So you're like a Jill of all trades, lots of transferable skills is the way I look at it.
Yeah, and I actually don't think those skills are so far off from each other. Not in the sense I see a lot of times. Mm-hmm. There's industry similarities that are going to make it easier for her than a lot of other people.
Yeah. Education looks good. She's got license and certifications. Amazing. Volunteer experience. I'm a huge fan of volunteer experience. I'll tell you, before COVID, I went to a LinkedIn live in real life networking event, and 3 people that I spoke to at that event mentioned my volunteer experience as a lacrosse coach. So put your volunteer experience on there. It's a great conversation starter, especially as we're all going back out in the world now. Those are good places to start up conversations. Skills.
By the way, just real quick, for Julie, I love that you did the Lean Six Sigma. If you wind up getting good with that and getting like your green belt or something, that's going to be really attractive to employers. So I just want to put that out there.
Okay. And she put, that's why they have the gray boxes. Understood. You can put certifications and or courses you've completed in the featured section, especially if you're trying to pivot. Great point, Christine. And once you complete that course, share it as a post. What was the most interesting part of the course that you loved, how you feel like it impacted you, how it helped you level up, and what you're looking to do with that knowledge moving forward. And just make sure with your skills and endorsements, Julie, that these are the top 3 skills that you want to be known for: problem solving, critical thinking, and business process improvement. And then she has some recent recommendations. Go out and give someone a recommendation too. It's always nice to have some balance there as well. She's got her accomplishments and her interests. I love it. I have a Brene Brown quote tattooed on my side, so I'm a big fan. Anything else?
Figure out who that is.
Brene Brown? You would love the Gift of Imperfections book. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. It changed my life. Has anyone else read that book by Brene Brown? I
hear everybody quoting Brene Brown. I haven't read it.
That's a good conversation for our clubhouse room in 30 minutes.
Yeah. So I want to mention something real quick because we talk about people pivoting all the time. And the reason that I get animated is because every job seeker has an opportunity to be great, to change their careers and find solutions. I had one of my favorite people that I'm working with right now is a single mother of 2 that lives in New York, and she has a dog walking business because that afforded her the time that she needed as a single mother to be able to do what she needed. But now she's at a position for she needed to change. So we put her together with one of my favorite coaches in the world or one of my favorite recruiters in the world. And just based on her dog walking and a couple other little things, we were able to realize that she had opportunity as a project manager. And we tailored her resume, we fixed it around, and just like me, she did the work. And now she has this opportunity to set herself apart and get into this really lucrative position where I don't think she would have ever imagined she'd be able to make this much money. And it all came from walking dogs and having initiative. So if you can do it from something like that, anybody could do it in any situation. It's just having the perseverance and the willingness to spend the time.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
this is why I get animated about this stuff.
Yeah, and it's all about like microing down and pulling apart the things that you have done. Like people all the time think, oh, that's so insignificant. I walk dogs. But if you start, and remember that session where I like peppered you with questions, I was like, what did you do? And then what did you do? And then I was like, so what? Like, so what? What does that statement mean? Right. But we had to pull back the layers, like pulling back the layers of an onion, to really get to the core of, what are those superpowers and how those aligned with your brand and what you're looking to do. So hopefully Julie feels supported. Please reach out to Dan and I if you have any additional questions. You can always grab a spot on my calendar to schedule a strategy call. And then Robert said he would love some feedback on his banner, and then we probably need to bounce. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, I have to do this for Robert because he likes my sense of humor, and that's not normal. So. I really want to rip him apart. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I really want to rip him apart. Yeah, I can't rip him apart.
I mean, I like the cover image.
Like this.
Yeah, senior, and folks, this is really powerful. Senior project manager, IT projects, healthcare, and innovation. Like he's hitting the 3 pillars: the positions, the industry, and kind of what he's known for as far as innovation. And this is powerful. And he's also saying that he's a connector. It looks like he has his cover story, which we won't be able to hear, I don't think. So I'm not going to play that. But he must have creator mode because it says what he talks about, right? This doesn't come up if they don't have creator mode, I don't think. So senior IT project manager, healthcare projects, team leadership. Robert, I might add 1 or 2 titles of the positions that you're typically applying for if there were any others than senior IT project manager. I like healthcare projects, team leadership. I'm not sure. Again, my brain goes team leadership. Like, what is that? So maybe consider using a phrase that really demonstrates how you've done team leadership in the past. So Let's see. Feedback on my banner. And that
This
was
is
it.
about.
He has a
Yeah.
ICM.
Yeah, I like this. Robert, like I would take the opportunity to roast you if I had even the smallest inkling to. But I love what you did. To me, this is an example of what I want to see. It tells me everything that I need to know. It tells it the headline is clean,
Mhm.
concise. This is, yeah, everybody, you want to see an example of what to do, take a look at Roberts. I'm really kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
That's
any.
awesome.
I think you're on the right path. And so anyone that's listening, whether it's live tonight or in the replay, it's always smart to model success after people. So with that, I think we have had a super awesome conversation. I haven't really been able to tell everyone that's tuning in. But it's been so much fun working with you over these last couple months. And now we are collaboration partners and great friends, and excited to see where your career goes from here. And the exciting thing about LinkedIn is you can basically follow people for years. Like Orlando Haynes and he was a candidate of mine when I lived in Tampa. So we're talking like early 2000s, which is just crazy. So
yeah. If I can, I would love to plug tomorrow. If you're okay with it.
Sunday.
No, tomorrow.
Oh yeah, please. Sorry.
Well, actually, so I have two. So
let me grab it. I'll put it in the banner for you. Go ahead.
So every Saturday, so Zuna Executive, where I work, we're very diversity, equity, and inclusion focused. And because of this, under Thought Leadership Branding, every Saturday I run a diversity, equity, and inclusion room on Clubhouse. The last 2 weeks we've spoken about, we've spoken for 4 hours each time with just tremendous conversation. Last week it was based off of John Graham Jr.'s book, Plantation Theory. This week I'm still trying to figure out what we're doing, but it's a necessary conversation. And what I'd really love to see, and the reason that I want to bring this up here is oftentimes myself and Melanie Wexler are the only people that look like us that are there. And I would love to see more people coming in as advocates and being open to change and understanding, even though they can be tough conversations. So please join me there. And then the only other thing I have going on, and Jessica is part of this, is next Wednesday, the same day that you're doing your accelerator, we're running the Women's Empowerment Panel. So it's Jessica Williams, myself, Ilya Francis, Susie Choi. We actually have Stephanie Holt, who's a former CFO of a Fortune 5. Who am I missing? Michelle Oliver. So we have just a great, and I'll be back in as part of the panel. I took last month to kind of push back. And then Michelle Griffin, who's the co-founder of the Women's Empowerment Series, is the moderator as always. So last month we got over 500 responses. I am aiming for 750. Although I did find out that you can only invite 500 people per person that's on the panel.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. For LinkedIn Lives.
I'm super I feel like should be an easier way to invite people to events and lives. I don't like to just select everyone and send it. So I go through one by one and invite people. So if you get an invitation from me to an event, it is personal and intentional. So
if you get one from me, it is not.
Awesome. So tomorrow I have Jessica Williams. I believe we're going to go live in the morning. I have to double check. I don't know the time exactly. But on Sunday at 11 o'clock, 5 LinkedIn direct messages that will get recruiter responses. I bet you are getting some interesting DMs these days.
You have no idea. Like the newest one I'll get is I got one the other day that said, um, "Dear Dan, I've seen all the work that you've done. I really need help. Can you please help me?" And then I clicked more and it said, "Send me money."
So I'm on a mission to help job seekers and recruiters like work more seamlessly together. And part of that is your communication style when you drop into the DM. So I'm going to share my 5 top LinkedIn direct messages that I would respond to that are concise, educate, are other focused, and will get you results. So join us on Sunday at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. It's a free seminar or a free coaching session over Zoom. There is an event. If you want the link to the event, just DM me. DM me top 5 LinkedIn DMs, and I will send you the link. So this has been another episode of Job Search Accelerator Summer Camp Live Series. Dan, you're a rock star. What else you got?
So, last thing, and I owe this to you. For those of you that are watching, that are tuning in for me, first of all, thank you. If it wasn't for Anna, my life wouldn't be where it is today. Everything that I'm doing, I in large part owe to the guidance I received from her. So when I say I recommend her accelerator, when I say I recommend her coaching, it's not empty. It's because I know the power that Anna has and how she could truly help a person both. And it's more so than just in their job search. The reason I connected so well with her is because she's family to me. And we had that instant kind of soul connection. So please take the opportunity. It's absolutely 1000% worth it.
I don't bite. Thank you, Dan. Loved having you. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support, the community. I value each and every one of you, and I hope to see most of you on Sunday, if not the following Wednesday for JSA Summer Camp. Everyone have an awesome...
minutes.
Or 10 minutes over on Clubhouse. Bye, everyone.